In this video, we are going into the Australian rainforest in search of some of the beautiful fish in our freshwater ecosystems. We're specifically on the look for some rainbow fish to breed in my fish room as part of a new breeding project that I'd like to do. Australia's freshwater ecosystems are filled with amazing wildlife. When exploring these different ecosystems, you can expect to see a lot of different animals, including fish, lots of different shrimp and yabbies, plants, insects, birds, and things surrounding all these waterways, as a lot of these freshwater ecosystems are nucleuses for a lot of animals' survival. We can expect to see a ton of interesting things today, and I'm super excited to go on this adventure with all of you. Our adventure starts off bright and early today at the fish room.
It's currently like 6 a.m. in the morning. I don't mind early mornings. I think a few of the people today do, I don't know, we'll see. But today we're going wild collecting. We're going up north from Brisbane. We've got my friend Jason taking us out. Morning, mate. How you doing, bro?
How you going?
Jason has a YouTube channel you guys can check out. Adrian from Adrian's Fish Room and Katie from Katie's channel is also coming. We're all going out looking for some fish. I think I've got everything we need. I put it all in here. Don't need that.
You got an air stone?
Yeah. Like
I brought an airline and that, but I forgot the air stone.
Oh yeah, I'll get you one.
Got any salt there?
Yes. Got GoPro, cameras, net, and I got 2 specimen containers as well. And like pH test kit and that.
There's actually a funny story between me and Jason. So we actually met way back when I was about 15 years old. 7 years ago, Jason came to my house when I had 1 fish tank and a few angelfish that I wanted to move. I put a listing on Facebook and Jason replied to that listing and came and collected some fish from my house at 9:30 p.m. My parents weren't too impressed, but it was pretty funny because I don't think Jason remembered it until I mentioned it, but I had met him several years prior. Jason's been doing heaps of adventures throughout the whole of Australia, collecting and researching and looking at different species of fish, all in our freshwater ecosystems. Jason's got a wealth of knowledge about all the fish that we're going to see today, and he's been on trips far and wide, deep into the outback here in Australia, looking for different species, and I have a massive respect for what Jason does. He does all of this stuff on his free time in the weekends, and researching all these fish, collecting them, looking after them, and helping with conservation projects is something that he loves to do. And I really admire what he's done for the native fish keeping hobby.
This is a full setup you got here, Jason.
Given that Jason does this so often, he has quite the rig with his car. Jason's car is basically set up for collecting any species of freshwater fish in Australia and bringing them home.
Lithium battery system for charging all your camera gear and all that. Solar panel on the top that charges the battery when you're not driving. You can be stationary and that runs the fridge and everything. Storage drawers for your camera gear and your tools and all that sort of stuff.
What's this stuff here? Water?
That's your water for shower, or you can use it for filling up buckets.
Oh wow. Because how long do you have to keep the fish in the car?
For days. I've kept them in there for a couple of weeks.
AB's here.
How you going, Jason?
Jason, AB, nice to meet you.
Alright, I think we're all good. Oh, tripod. I'm going to definitely lose something today. So much to think about.
After everyone had arrived and we'd got all our gear together and packed up the car, it was time to head off, hit the road and try and find some wild fish.
Alrighty, so we're on the way to the first location.
To get to the locations we were going to today, we had to head up Mount Glorious and Mount Nebo to get to the top of Northbrook Creek where we were looking for our fish.
So it's been raining for the last 2 days before we've come here now. Is that like bad for the fish or?
No, it could actually be quite good up here because most creeks would be cloudy and that after the rain, but because this gets so much rainfall up here, usually actually makes the creek clearer.
What are you saying? People normally don't invite you because you said it rains every time you come somewhere.
Most people know, that invite me somewhere it'll start raining. All these desert areas, and people that actually live there ask me to come back to bring the rain with them.
The rain, man.
Yeah, but luckily this time it didn't pan out.
We had to make a quick stop for fuel on the way there as this was going to be quite a long drive, and I just wanted to show you guys the price of fuel here in Australia. It's very expensive. We decided along the way that we'd stop off at some of the lookouts and have a look from above at the ecosystems we were going to explore today. We reached our first spot, West Ridge Outlook.
Okay, so we've just stopped off.
Our first lookout.
And it's freezing. Like we're 500 meters up above sea level and it is freezingly cold. Like I can't imagine how cold the water's gonna be. It's gonna be so cold. Jason was saying that apparently there's death adder snakes here as well. This is like well-known spot for death adders, so Adrian's not scared, but I'm kind of like shitting myself about it.
This is very cool, huh? Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, it's like an Iwagumi scape. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
You can see the view from the lookout was just fantastic. It was absolutely amazing.
For all you that don't know, I've got a massive fear of heights. I hate getting high up.
What we were looking at was the Wivenhoe Dam, which is where some of the water for Brisbane is collected for drinking and for using in our aquariums. We found heaps of amazing plants here at the Outlook, including a lot of different ferns, mosses, orchids, trees, and other little critters.
You normally see them on the rough bark.
Yeah, you can hear all the whipbirds. It's amazing. Yeah, it's so cool.
What I was going to just point out is, so they cut this tree down obviously years ago, 75 to 100 years ago maybe, and they've done it by hand, so you can imagine how hard it was to get down. But because it's got a hollow centre, they haven't been able to use it, so they've just left it there to rot basically. So the timber, they took all the time to cut it down. Centre was hollow, so it's gone. It's huge.
Yeah, it'd go all the way down. Imagine the sound of that thing falling.
When it came down, yeah. And then the sound of the guys swearing when they realised it was hollow. It probably took them 2 days.
After this stop, we were back on the road, and we drove for another 10 to 15 minutes until we reached another outlook to see the overall environment of where these animals today come from. So our second location is the Wivenhoe Outlook.
Oh, the smell is so nice, just like the air.
Again, we're just looking at the same dam from a different spot. We did find some really cool plants here as well, some different ones.
This is a cordyline, a native cordyline, and it's flowering. I haven't seen that flower before. Not that particular colour, no, it's beautiful.
But it is just so interesting and refreshing to go to these places, and you don't really hear any cars, you don't hear any people talking, and you're just really immersed inside of nature. And it's something that we don't get to do a lot as people in metro cities, so this was just so refreshing for me to see, especially after a long year of building in the fish room and not really being able to go out and do these things.
Apparently, now we're going to go and have a look for some fish. So, I'm not too sure where we're going, but we're looking.
It was time to head off to the first fish location. We travelled another 15 minutes down the hill to a spot along Northbrook Creek in the National Park to have a look at one of the most amazing freshwater streams I've ever seen in my life. And at first sight, I was in love. This place was so tranquil, so beautiful, and the water was just flowing absolutely magnificently. So you got the kicks on now?
Yeah,
What are these?
water shoes.
Water shoes. I'm just gonna go Vans.
Shoes.
They're Esche shoes. You reckon? The water was absolutely crystal clear, so I took my shoes off and started to head further up the creek.
The sticks are the ones with the sharps on them. Yeah. The spikes. Avoid the sticks.
Look at all these rocks. They're like perfect ram breeding rocks. There's heaps of these tadpoles everywhere.
When we first put our feet in the creek, we were introduced by a few little tadpoles. So these are actually native frogs, Jason was saying, and you can see the little tadpoles swimming around that will develop into frogs very, very soon. So we were going to head a little bit upstream and have a look at some of the fish here in the creek. Jason said it's always better to start off down the bottom and head upstream, as if you go the other way, the water's just going to carry all the debris that you're kicking up and you're not going to be able to see the fish as you go along. So it's always important to note, head upstream, not downstream.
So this here, this is what gives me inspiration to do stuff for tanks, like the way that you've got the side wall here can be the back of your fish tank, and then you can run the roots along there, but just the way that the substrate changes, how it's really fine underneath the roots over there, it's slightly larger out here, and you can see the larger bits all then bank up on the sides here. And I love this little pocket with all those roots coming off over here. See, that to me is just an ideal snapshot of what you could take and put into a tank, you know?
Look at this.
The only aquatic moss growing here, Nick.
Oh yeah. Wow. It's just fantastic.
You want an example of when you're walking around these sorts of places?
Oh wow.
That's the sort of driftwood you pick up.
Perfect piece.
Cool, huh?
Now we're not allowed to collect in this location because this is actually a protected area, so This is probably part of the reason why this area is so pristine. You're not even allowed to take driftwood from here. All we're allowed to do is walk around and observe, and honestly, I was really happy to do this. This is such a beautiful area, and I hope I get to see more ecosystems like this further on in my life. This is seriously just so beautiful and pristine. We didn't even spot a single noxious fish here, which was just absolutely amazing. So these creeks really do turn into rapids when it starts to rain.
Yeah, so you can see the creek would get up
Yeah,
that high.
for sure. You usually check up in the trees to where the debris is, and that tells you the last height of the last flood.
Almost head height.
Jason goes on these adventures all the time, so he was really good at helping us find where all the fish were within this ecosystem. None of us could spot where these fish were swimming, but Jason had an eye for it.
Oh, there's a big school of rainbows right there.
Oh, sick.
If you just stand there, I'll walk up and you'll probably scare them down to you. They're swimming right here in front of me. See now where the sun's coming out here, nice.
Imagine.
Oh, there's some nice big ones up here.
Oh, yeah.
Right there in front of you.
They're huge. They've got such amazing colour.
He could spot fish from tens of meters away, and it was just so amazing seeing him do this.
I always put the camera in under these snags because you never know what's going to be under them. Sometimes there could be fish hiding under them and that, but you can't see them from the surface of the water because of all the water movement. Could be crayfish or anything in there. Perfect spot for them to hide.
He was so patient with setting up his cameras and explaining to us the best way to record these fish.
So when you do your biotope videos and record all these nature shots and stuff, how long do you have to wait here?
Sometimes I stand here for hours just waiting for the right sort of video. You just got to leave the camera in there and let it do its own thing, let the fish warm up to it.
When we had a look underwater, there was so many of these beautiful Dubalaos rainbows. These are also referred to as crimson spotted rainbows. They were all displaying their morning colours, and they were likely breeding.
Heaps of these Dubalaos here.
If you have a good look here, there's a
Oh
heap of
yeah,
them.
you can see them clear as day here.
Now the sun comes up, just slowly walk into the water, you'll see them.
And you can see baby ones. I see a couple of little baby ones in there.
They swim in pretty big schools, and they can actually travel up and down the stream, so these can be expected along the whole entire creek that we're exploring today, and hopefully we can collect some of these downstream.
Adrian's found himself a nice spot in the soft sand.
Soft sand, yeah, digging my feet in, beautiful.
That's actually, I think, watercress.
Okay.
I think it's a watercress.
Yep.
So I think you can actually eat it.
You want a bite?
National Park, I can't.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I did not bring my water testing kit to figure out what the parameters of the water were here, but we will test the water a little bit further downstream, and I don't imagine it'll be that much different.
Just take a bit of water with you.
Cup.
There you go.
No, because I'm probably got a bit pH in me. So.
You're acidic.
Yeah, I'm acidic. So they would be breeding all up in underneath these roots.
Yeah, on those roots there, yep, they'd be laying eggs.
So when they come downstream here, I can't imagine that they could get back up over those.
Oh yeah, they can.
They can get up there.
There's little nooks and crannies going all through those rocks. This creek was dry probably about 6 months or 8 months ago. It was totally dry. So they've come all the way upstream from down the bottom where the dam is, or little pockets where they've been hiding.
There's almost like a dam here. I don't know if this is man-made or what. There's all these rocks that have built up and formed like this dam wall, as you can see. But this is where Jason reckons the rainbows climb up and they go back upstream, which is insane that they can climb up through this. Look how fast this water is flowing here. It's not crazy fast, but it's still very quick. Walk through it all. There we go. Oh mate, these rocks are rough on your feet. They're very, very sharp.
Next time I come on one of these trips, I will be bringing some of these water shoes. I had to walk around barefoot, and these rocks aren't as smooth as it seems. They're very, very hard on your feet. It was actually very nice to be completely in touch with the water, but after a bit, it did become a little bit rough on your feet.
What do you think of it all?
Yeah, I think it's amazing, bro. It's just a very special place. The water's incredible. You could easily drink this water. Oh, here's a marchfly. Let's see if we can. You ready? Watch. They actually bite and sting you. That's a little sucker. They draw blood, and they're called horseflies or marchflies. And you don't panic with them. You just wait till they land, then they hit. I feed these to my fish in my fish room, but they're ultimately, you'll see him floating down the river. He will become rainbow food pretty quick.
We probably spent about a good hour and a half here at this location, looking at the fish, talking to each other about the fish, and learning all about the ecosystem of where they come from. I probably sound a little bit dramatic saying this, but this was life-changing for me. I've never experienced such a beautiful ecosystem, and it was really full circle for me to see where some of the fish that I love to keep come from.
Look at how beautiful this is. This is just a park next door, and you can hear all the native birds, and the creek's down there. But look at all this grass, and you've got the hills up there. It's just a beautiful spot.
After we'd seen everything we wanted to see, we had to keep on schedule and move on to the next location. I wanted to stay here for hours, but we had to make sure that we got to the next location in time to catch the fish that we wanted to catch, as if we left it too late, they'd all disappear, and it wouldn't be prime time for catching the fish we want to see. So our second fish location was this beautiful billabong located at the bottom of the mountain range. This was surrounded by rundown cattle farms, which explains why there's a lack of trees around the area.
It's got a couple of different coloured traps.
To catch the fish we wanted to collect today, we were using really simple and cheap bait traps. You can get these at basically any fishing shop for a couple of bucks, and they work great for collecting these small fish.
So you just use cat food?
Yeah, just a cheap brand cat biscuit.
This is quite a deep little system, and there was tons of fish right from the get-go. We could see them all from the surface. This place just really struck me as beautiful. After we'd got all the traps together, it was time to throw them in the water. So we climbed down the overpass where the cars go, down to the creek.
So throwing the traps in?
And you can see we already found an empty bottle that was either left here or flowed down this stream to this spot. We did pick this up, but it was a little disappointing to see this. Jason was saying these are just detrimental to this area, as especially since it doesn't have the lid on it, reptiles get their heads stuck in them, turtles get their heads stuck in them, and they're just terrible for the wildlife. So we picked this up, and then we went and threw our traps in the water.
So about there?
We threw one trap in a shallow area, and then we went under the overpass and we threw one in a spot on the other side of the road. We then went and grabbed another 2 traps and went further downstream and placed them in 2 other spots in the creek.
Little yabby just darted off underneath this branch here.
None bite me, hopefully. I've got no shoes on.
While we were setting up the final traps, Jason spotted a little yabby swimming in the area. You can see it was actually sparring at the camera, and he was quite a big one. I'm not too sure what the species was. It was really cool to see this. Jason was very, very excited about it. Jason also lifted up a few rocks to show us where the yabbies hide in this area. We did see a few shellfish swimming underneath this rock. We of course put these back in place after we were done looking. So once we'd finished placing all the traps in the area, we had to leave them for 30 minutes, so we went and had some lunch and just chilled out in the area and really appreciated the spot.
What do you got?
2 bananas, apples. That's about it, really.
pH neutral.
Katie brought all the lunch for us today, so we had a few bread rolls and some Bundaberg ginger beer, which was really nice of her, so thank you so much, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
While we're having lunch, Adrian grabbed the camera and walked over to some of the machinery only 100 meters away from us. You can see there's millions of dollars of equipment just sitting here. We're not too sure what this is going to be used for. Hopefully nothing that's going to affect the ecosystem that we're looking at today.
Right, so we've just had lunch, and we're gonna go check the first traps that we set.
We got something in there.
There's something.
Yeah, rainbows.
Oh wow.
Heaps of them.
Oh, there's heaps of them.
Take it over here in the calmer water.
Wait, we got fish.
You got to watch these too because they act like popcorn when you put them in. A couple of purple spotted gudgeons if you want to check it out. Can you see them?
Wow.
Yeah, there's a nice big one here. I'll take it out and show you.
It's a Dubulei. Crimson spotted.
Baby purple spotted gudgeon, another Dubulei.
Oh my gosh.
There's a nice couple of nice bigger purple spotteds in here.
Not huge.
Not
little
huge,
baby.
I actually prefer to take younger ones because they do better. Oop, one got out.
So we've got males and females? Definitely.
Probably, yeah.
How long can these fish live for?
Oh, they can live for up to 20 years.
Even the rainbows?
Or 15 years at least.
The gudgeons and rainbows.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So you can see we found some fish in our first trap, which was so exciting.
Try a different spot now, just up in a bit shallower water.
Yep.
See what happens.
We actually ended up catching something.
We'll just keep them for now and aerate them. And
We'll release them if we don't need them.
yeah, I'll just check the one under this pipe here, see what it's like. No, nothing up here.
There were no fish in our other trap on the other side of the road, so we did move this one back to the other side of the creek to see what else we could catch.
Imagine having this in your backyard.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Take these up and put the aerator on them.
So we put some in a fresh bucket, took them up to AB and Katie to show them what we'd caught, and just preserved them for a couple of minutes while we went and checked all the other traps.
You gonna keep a few of these in your rainbow tank, AB?
Probably.
How cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you can see there, they would be able to jump up the streams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll jump out that bucket for sure.
So what's this we're gonna use?
A USB aerator. You plug them into a USB and they just go for ages.
So they're just gonna stay oxygenated now. So you just throw a bit of salt in.
Yeah, just a pinch of salt. Normally you put like a pinch in each fish bag as you're bagging them up.
Why would you do that, Jake?
It helps with it, produce their slime coat.
My suggestion is that because it's your channel, you need to swing out, hold on to that, and swing out as far as you can, and then come all the way back in and stay dry. And if you get wet, well, too bad.
Should I do it?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. Go. Oh, he can hold his body weight.
Let go. I know you want it.
So after we put our first fish in the bucket, we continued to check all the other traps to see what we'd caught.
Do you want me to pull that out, or are you going to pull that out?
You can pull it out.
Okay, second trap. Let's see what's in it. Oh, this is awesome. Look at this. How good's that? We've definitely got some.
What do you reckon they are?
There's lots of rainbows.
Oh, there's heaps of stuff splashing around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a glass. It's a glass fish.
You can see here in Katie's trap, she found a ton of different fish,
Yeah, some glass fish.
including some of these glass perchlets, which are so cool.
Yeah.
Can you breed the glass fish?
Yeah. They will breed in there. You breed them in ponds. Look at them all.
That's awesome.
It's a firetail there. That's the purple spot there. And that's a glass fish there.
Got 4 different fish.
And a rainbow fish there.
Gosh.
That's it.
4 different types, 1 scoop.
So we ended up collecting a wide variety of different species, including Dubalaya's rainbow fish, purple spotted gudgeons, firetail gudgeons, and of course some glass perchlets. We will be having a closer look at all these species when we take them home later on in the day. We are only allowed to take a few of these out of the stream due to our fisheries laws, so we did release most of the fish we caught today back into the stream, and we were only able to take a few of these home to breed. After we'd checked all the traps we set before lunch,
You get some mad underwater footage, Brewster.
James decided that he was going to go for a swim, so he chucked on the snorkel gear, took the GoPro in, and had an underwater look at the billabong that we were sitting at.
When we wake.
Oh,
I got shivered just when he did that anyway.
is it freezing? I'll hop in.
He was swimming around for quite a while before he hopped out because he did find a big scary catfish swim past. It did really freak him out, and you can see the water does go quite deep.
You're holding the right part. Go on, go. Alright, my turn. Dirty little up. Just went in and smelled like a dirty fish tank. Just skipper.
After we'd had a dip in the water, it was time to go and test the water parameters of the fish we just collected. We went on the other side of the creek as we'd just stirred up a bunch of the material in the bottom of the water, and we thought this could affect the water testing, so we went across the other side of the road and grabbed a few samples.
30
Can you
degrees.
see that?
So that's really, really warm.
It's warm, yeah.
I don't know if I believe that the water was 30 degrees. It was a very, very hot day, but it didn't seem that hot, and I think this thermometer might be broken. So Jason and I took our best bet, and we reckon the water was about 23 degrees. The same as the ocean.
So we'll do TDS next, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 0, 0, 0.
Yep. 130. So that's quite interesting because you'd think it being rainwater, it would be like maybe 60 parts per million max.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what's coming off the rest of the
It must be like all the silt and all that would add
Yeah, and
heaps.
all the farms and everything washing into it.
Yeah, true. Like there'd be heaps of fertilizers and stuff.
All right. I'll just give this a rinse.
What do you reckon it's going to be?
I really don't know. I've never been up this end of the,
I reckon it'll be quite acidic.
We will soon find out though. One thing people forget to do is to shake their
Solutions.
solution. So this says 3 drops. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, dude, that's so alkaline.
There you go.
That's crazy. You wouldn't
Yeah.
even think that. It's like 8.
It would have to be at least 8, yeah. Look at that.
8.8.
Can you see that on there? The
That,
colour
here,
difference?
we've got to test that again. That can't be right, surely. That's crazy. That's so high.
We will soon find out. Let's do another one. Best of 3 almost, huh?
Yeah, we have to, because, I mean, the pH solution could be off as well. I don't know. I've had it for a while.
All right, totally rinsed.
So precise.
All right, we got it spot on. 1, 2, 3.
See, that looks a different colour already.
I think some of our test kits were definitely broken or weren't calibrated
see,
because we
still
did
blue.
get varying results.
It's like 7.0.
Yeah, 7.0. I'm gonna do one more best of 3.
Yeah, because we've gone from literally 8.8 to 7.
I was just gonna say maybe the test kit might not be so accurate.
That's what I was thinking. The test kits.
The glass vial and the lid washed and washed and washed. Out here in the middle-ish. Oh, look at that. I got it first go.
Clear.
Level, clear. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, that's 7 again.
So we're going to...
Dude, is it lower? No. It's not
Yeah,
6.
you'd say it's in that 7. Almost neutral, I guess, wouldn't you, for the 2 out of the 3? I think we can safely say a 7's about right.
It's
With
hard to
that, with
say.
a disclaimer that could be really inaccurate as far
I
as that
think-
old testing kit. But we'll soon
I mean,
see.
the TDS is a better indicator. At least that's like 100% accurate. But the pH I've had,
Yeah.
it mean,
We didn't check the expiry date.
I mean, no, 2025.
All right.
Well, it's accurate. It just there must have been some stuff in it.
All right.
After this, we packed up the site,
So packing up now.
Packing up now.
released the fish that we weren't going to take home, and hopped in the car and drove to 2 other locations that Jason wanted to show us.
Oh my gosh. That's insane.
You can see here, this is the dam gates where they actually release water, and we had a quick look just out of interest because I'd never been here, and you can see it is massive. There's actually turtles and stuff swimming around in the water down below, but we didn't spend too long here as we wanted to stay on schedule to get to the other 2 locations.
We're at the second location now. What are we looking for here, Jason?
We're just having a bit of a browse. This is called Twin Bridges.
Jason was hoping to show us tons of beautiful Vallisneria beds and a thriving ecosystem where we could hopefully collect some Pacific blue eyes. When we arrived, we were very, very shocked to see the area had been completely decimated by the recent floods here in Brisbane.
See look how high the water went.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Water's pretty dirty. Just imagine all that oil and water coming here from all the floods and everything.
This area was completely different from the videos that Jason showed us, and it just goes to show how much people can have an impact on these different ecosystems, especially those that are downstream from the dam. So this location is downstream from the dam, and when the dam is released, the water comes through here obviously, and it's just ripped up the Vallisneria carpets. I mean, we didn't even see any. There was tons of dead clams everywhere, and this place was just completely ruined.
Flooded out about 3 or 4 times in the last few years. It doesn't get a chance to recover like the rest of the river. Most of the mangroves in the river have all died, and they've sort of taken years to come back. And that's all fish habitat. That's the way they make their way up the river, through the mangrove roots and that.
Jason was also telling us that people actually drive their cars into this water and wash them off. So 4-wheel drivers will go bash up their 4-wheel drive, get it covered in mud, and then we'll drive into this water system and wash off their ute and give it a little spa.
They put all these railway tracks in. These idiots were, going through with their 4-wheel drives and ruining the place.
This is really disappointing because this obviously has a huge impact on the ecosystem as well, which is why there's tons of these barricades around the water trying to stop cars doing it. But we did have a look around, we saw a ton of driftwood, and I was a little bit disappointed that we weren't able to see any fish inside of the water.
All the bell beds.
Yeah, they're all gone. But we're standing where they would have been, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
After we'd checked out Twin Bridges,
It's starting to rain.
so we packed up all the gear and headed off in the car to our final location. Savage's Crossing. This area is actually a conservation spot for breeding the rare Australian lungfish. Lungfish are a prehistoric fish, they're beautiful and can live for about 100 years.
So how do they breed? They come in and just scatter their eggs in here.
Scatter their eggs in amongst the val.
It's understood that only a few of these actually survive each year, which is very disappointing because when we arrived there was no Vallisneria in this area. If we look back at some of Jason's footage, you can see it's night and day difference with this spot. There used to be beautiful Vallisneria carpets all throughout the spot where the lungfish would go and breed. This area has been just completely ruined by the floods. The floods obviously have devastated this area and tons of people's homes at the start of the year, but it was just so disappointing to see this. Jason was also telling us that this is a spot where they have been replanting Vallisneria, so conservationists have been culturing Vallisneria and planting these carpets in this spot, but it's obvious that they haven't been taking, and it's going to take a very long time before they recover.
And so the floods ruined this too.
Just tore it all out.
Apparently some of the wholesalers in the area also have a permit to remove the Vallisneria and resell it. We don't know if this is true, but Jason has spotted wholesalers coming down to the area, ripping up the Vallisneria, washing it off and reselling it into the aquarium trade, which is very disappointing to see, especially if this is where the lungfish are breeding. After we finished up at Savage's Crossing, it was time to head home. We drove an hour before we got back to the Keeping Fish Simple store.
We're back at headquarters now,
Yep.
and we're going to put the fish in quarantine.
Get the fish out
So
in
we'll
quarantine.
help Jason unpack everything. They've been bubbling the whole time, right?
Yeah.
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 You need to put them into a tank with a light so we can see them.
Yeah, I'll put a light on top. I'm fixing the lights very soon.
The store was actually still open as we did this on a Saturday, so there was a few customers in the store buying fish, which I did really appreciate.
G'day, g'day.
Sorry.
How you going, guys?
So bringing them back out. Make an AV walk.
Yeah, so you could have decided that before I carried the bucket in.
Sorry. Try and get one of each. So I feel like using hands better.
We ended up taking a few different species home. We took a few crimson spotted rainbows,
Female and a male. The males get the nice thread fins too.
a few purple spotted gudgeons, some glass perchlets, and some firetail gudgeons.
So got some rainbows here. Wow.
Nice colours.
We've got males for sure, and like the little ones are females. So it's probably 3 males, 2 females.
We obviously aren't allowed to take many fish out of the ecosystem, so this did limit what we were able to take home. I think this is a good thing. I'd rather that we're only allowed to take a few of them than a lot of them, and because of this rule, this stops people abusing the ecosystem and taking hundreds of fish home to feed their Oscars. We're not allowed to resell these fish, but we are allowed to keep them in our tanks, and we are allowed to breed them and sell the offspring. So my goal is to hopefully breed some of these Dubulei rainbows or crimson spotted rainbows. The fish that we collected are a beautiful locale with a lot of red on their fins and just look absolutely fantastic, so I'm super keen to give it a shot. We've been breeding a ton of rainbows in the fish room, and these will obviously be added to the breeding list.
And then we've got my favourite, the purple spot gudgeons. So the size of him.
Oh, he is huge.
That's a good catch.
We threw all the fish into the quarantine rack out the back of the room, and all the fish have been wormed and treated for parasites before entering all of our fish tanks. So we've given all the fish a worming treatment and heavily monitored for any bacterial or fungal issues on the fish. I was very surprised to see how hardy some of these fish are, and they've responded very well to entering all of our aquariums. I'm super keen for Katie and Adrian to come pick up their fish and get to enjoy them in their home systems. I hope that they get to breed them at some point, but for the moment in time, I'm very happy with the rainbow fish that we collected. They've all been eating very well and have started to take to flakes. I first introduced these guys to some live baby brine shrimp, and then also introduced them to some black worms. I think it's also important to note that I did keep a few of the purple spotted gudgeons as well. I have been breeding a pair of these in the fish shop, and they've just been breeding and breeding and breeding in the actual store, so I'll keep a few of these wild ones to try and breed at some point in the future as well. I want to take the time to quickly thank Jason for taking us all on this adventure. We had an amazing time, and I hope we get to do this again in the future very soon. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below and comment if you want to see more videos like this. This isn't an easy video to make as it does take a full day, but this was the most fun I've had in a very long time, and it was so refreshing to get out of the shop and actually see these fish in the wild. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.